Good morning! We're just starting to pack up now. We're leaving Ecuador. We've finished our trip to the Galápagos. We've done our sightseeing here in Quito, and now we're heading over to Panama. We're quite excited. We're going to see the Panama Canal, and although we really don't know what to expect, it's like one of the most well-known constructions in the world. Also, we're going to see the national park. We really hope to see the sloth, and hopefully Panama also has something else to offer, and we have 3 days to spend there before our honeymoon is over and we have to go back home to reality. We've just arrived in our hotel. Since it's our honeymoon, we've booked the suite on the top floor, and the view is pretty good here. Without further ado, let's get on with the places to see.
First up is in former US territory belonging to the Canal Zone, namely Cerro Ancon, also known as Ancon Hill. Situated in the middle of the city, it offers a great combination of a green contrast to the busy city life and a splendid viewpoint in all directions of the city. The hike up is fairly easy, but beware of the heat and bring water.
How tired are you right now?
Not really that tired.
But how sweaty are you?
Drenching, like I'm sopping wet. Aircrafts landing and taking off can be seen at the local airport. The skyscraper skyline is very visible, the old town is situated right below the hill, and the world-famous Panama Canal is perfectly within view. Even the Bridge of the Americas can be seen from here. This was for several years the only fixed point that connected North and South America, and if you drive across it northbound, you'll eventually end up in Alaska. Plenty of wildlife can be found here. On the way up, we saw a tiny frog and a creature that doesn't resemble anything we've seen before. What is this? There are also leafcutter ants here. At first sight, these tiny creatures may look like just regular ants, but they're actually farmers. They cut down leaves, bring them back to the nest, and feed it to a mushroom that grows in there, and in turn it allows them to eat it. There's also a huge Panamanian flag here. The US taking over the Canal Zone was rather controversial, and when Panama regained control of the area in 1977, they raised a flag the size of a basketball field that has been flying ever since. The Panama Canal is one of the most famous constructions in the world, and we finally made our way here. So we're now at the Miraflores Lock on the Pacific side of the Panama Canal. We just saw a ship go through. There are two locks here. They wanted to be able to accommodate bigger ships, so they built the third one all the way up there. Like in take huge ships. And it was opened 3 years ago in 2016.
In Miraflores, there's more than just the locks. It houses a great museum showing the history and construction of the canal and how it actually works. Some aspects of the canal can actually be seen outside the canal as well, like the quarantine zone in Amador. When the Panama Canal was built, they struggled with diseases like yellow fever and malaria, and therefore they needed a quarantine zone. And on these pillars they built a house where the infected were placed so that the diseases wouldn't spread.
We wanted to go to the Biomuseo, but it's closed because there's something going on today, so we have to come back tomorrow. So our revised plan now is to walk along this path, along the causeway, out to I think it's a sloth sanctuary, and to see some sloth. I've never seen them before, so this is going to be fun and exciting. To get to the sloth sanctuary, we're going to walk along this causeway. It's really narrow, so on one side you have all the ships going into the Panama Canal. On the other side you have a beautiful city skyline.
Because the causeway is going directly into the ocean, it gives a perspective of the city that can be found in very few other places.
I think it's a bit scared.
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes.
Hello, little fella.
Eyes and the... Oh, this is weird. This is so weird.
Can we put him down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put him down. Put him down there.
Yep.
There he goes.
Look at that. Hello. Now he's safely across the road.
Bye bye, hermit crab.
Look at that. It's a sloth. And at the end of the causeway is Punta Culebra. We could probably have spoken for days about this place. If you like wildlife, don't miss out on this one. It is a wildlife sanctuary, and as we entered the compound we were immediately greeted by a tiny crab. After every tide it has to clear out sand from its hideout again, but why it compresses it on the sandbanks we have no clue. What a fascinating little critter. The sanctuary also houses sea turtles and many species of frogs. They even have a glass frog. There are several iguanas here too. They look quite different. However, we think they're the same species. But there was one species in particular we really wanted to see.
We just heard that there's a mummy sloth with a baby in a tree over there. So we're going to look at it. Come on!
And we found them! Since this is a sanctuary, the sloths are free to leave, but they seem to enjoy life here. A few other guests also seem to enjoy this place.
If you want to see a truly strange building and learn about wildlife at the same time, Biomuseo is the place to go. It looks a bit like architecture gone mad. It's hard to visit Panama City without noticing this building. Inside is a museum showing the history and biodiversity of plants and wildlife in Panama. The museum is modern with interactive touchscreens and a fascinating aquarium. Outside are green spaces with a variety of plants and information, not to mention great views.
The nicest place in Panama City? Probably Casco Viejo. When we were taking photos, the cars actually stopped to clear the area. I don't think we've come across that anywhere else in the world. The old town is a beautiful place to explore, and many visitors choose this part of the town as a place to stay. To top it all off, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and if you want to see Casco Viejo from the ocean side, there's a road going all the way around it.
By the waterfront in Panama City is Cinta Costera, a land reclamation project. It has turned the waterfront into a beautiful place with footpaths, parks, green spaces and the infamous Panama sign. It also serves as a practical way to walk around without the busy traffic and noise in the rest of the city.
Before we finish off, knowing all these places to visit is no good if you can't reach them. Luckily, we were surprised by how easy it was to navigate the city by public transport. At the subway stations, one can buy a reusable ticket that can be filled with money. Every time you enter a bus or subway, you just swipe the card and the rest is done automatically. If you're more than one person, you can swipe multiple times to pay for several people. And if you change stations in transit, it will not charge you twice. However, this doesn't seem to work that well when paying for multiple people with the same card. It may therefore be beneficial to get one card per person. When we visited in May 2019, the subway was not yet connected to the main airport in Panama City. According to the internet, this may not happen until 2035 or 2040. There are buses going there, but if you have a lot of luggage it can get crowded and you may be better off taking a taxi to the city. If you do want to take the bus, ask one of the people entering the bus if you can pay for them to swipe their card for you to enter. The prices for public transportation are about $2 for a travel card, 25 cents for the bus, and 35 cents for the metro. Metro line 1 is the one you're most likely to use. And the bus from the airport to the city center is $1.25. Also, be aware that Google Maps is not fully up to date on public transport in Panama City. For simple routes it works fine, but if you have to change between multiple routes, Google seems to struggle. If you want to go by public transport to the same place that we did, check out the link in the description for directions.